Hi all, welcome back to my channel. I discuss various topics regarding product management. Especially here I try to share my learning so that it can help others who want to pursue product management or who are already there in that career. So today's topic of discussion is basically B2 similarities and differences between B2B and B2C product management. Coming to my background, I roughly have 2 years experience in a 2 years product experience in a B2B Series C funded startup called CleverTap. And I have half a year experience in a B2C unicorn startup called ShareChat. Now, the major differences, now diving deep into these topics, the major differences from my uh, experience are being customer driven and data driven. These are the two mindsets that we have when we are in B2B and B2C respectively. Now let's just go point by point to understand how these two product management are different. Coming to the first point, who are your major stakeholders and how do you communicate? How does the communication vary? And so this is depending on the product that you manage, you'll have multiple stakeholders. In B2B, there will be sales, customer success, finance, legal department, and uh, and you'll have to be in touch with all of them continuously to understand what is going on in the market and what are the customers reporting, how are the customers feeling, and who can be a prospective customer. So all of this is driven by sales and customer success. Coming to finance and legal, this is very important when you design a product or when you develop a product, because there are continuous policy changes. There are on which you have to be top of it. You have to be top of the security compliance changes. So it's very important to be on top of that, and that's why you continuously have to be in touch with finance and legal departments. In B2C, there's an additional department which is called operations. They manage the supply, and of course you have, if in case your organization is big, and you also have to manage brand and marketing departments, and you continuously have to be in touch with them to understand what is happening in their area so that you can develop features that meet their needs. uh, Here also policy and legal department is also very important, and it is more important over here because you will be taking users data. You will have to understand what you can store, what you cannot, and there are tons of policies that you have to adhere to while developing a B2C product. Coming to the second part of it, how often do you interact with customers? Like now there are two parts. Like I'll explain how what we did in B2B and what we did in B2C. B2B interacting with customer was very often. You should and you must try to interact to 5 customers a week. Here we also have to make sure that every segment of customer is covered, every account type, account size is covered, so that we don't lose out on a perspective or a good solution. So that's one thing. And now coming to B2C, I'll take a couple of examples over here. Let's say you are in a food delivery startup. You have to interact with restaurants and understand their pain points, and this is important. If it also depends on the scale. Now, if your scale is very high, then along with data, you have to look at your qualitative research. Usually, designers help you with these research also. Now, let's say if you're in a social media company, so there you have to interact with the people who are creating, with the creators who are there on your platform, and understand their pain point. Where are they failing? Where are they not liking your product because they give you the supply? So now, from a consumer side or a user behavior side, we mostly have to rely on data, because maybe one or two people will be impressed by your features, but on scale it might be very different from what you're expecting or what your top customers are saying. So you will have to rely on data a lot to understand the consumption pain point. So that's like, now let's say if you are a PM on the consumer side, your interaction with customers becomes really less if your startup is big or if your product has millions of users. uh, Now coming to where do features come from. uh, PMs are the ones who design features. PMs are the ones who design a roadmap. They understand and they get the features that need to be developed. uh, Coming to B2B first. In B2B, sales and customer success are the uh, our on-field departments, and sales majorly speaks to us regarding the requirements of the prospects that will help them close a deal. They will also come up with feature requirement of a contract renewal. Now you want to go horizontally deep into a client, you want to fulfill their other needs as well, and if you are doing well at it, you might just take the whole feature and pitch it to someone else. So that's a very good source of features. And here the challenge, and also this customer success who would tell you that okay, this enhancement is required, and if multiple customers ask you for similar enhancements, you can club them and build a feature on your own and pitch it to sales to sell it to other customers. So here the challenge, however, we face as PMs in this organization is not to focus on the details of a big customer. So if you develop completely for a very big customer, it might be rendered useless for other clients of yours. So that's where we have to be really careful. And also, like, then there are nitty-gritties in B2B, like committing timelines, doing the communication and all of that with respect to features, but I'll not go into depth of that. I'll do another video for that tricky topic. Now coming to B2C. In B2C, depending on which product is managed by you, you will have to innovate and stay ahead of your customer's need. Again, there are classic problems such as solving for engagement, solving for conversion, where you will have to implement a growth hack, or maybe you will have to improve the funnel. All of this you have to do. But most of the times, data and trends are your source of inspiration, are your source of features that you need. Also, understanding of who your users are and what do they need. You should have a good understanding of who your user persona is and what will work for them and what is not there. So all of this. Now that we are ready with the features, we know what metrics they will move and what we are building for. Then comes the process of actual development. The first thing is you have to write the specs, you have to define what these features are and what the flow will be, and take the use cases. Once you have the use cases and flows noted down, you give it to design. Design will work on it to give you wireframes or to give you the detailed design, and after that you hand it off to your engineering. And after engineering, there will be a QA person, there will be a QA department in fact, who will be testing all the features and will be giving a go ahead. After that is again you coming into the picture, where you have to do the UAT. UAT is user acceptance testing, and this is very important. You are the one who will have to say that you are going to release this feature. Now this process of defining the flows with use cases to QA and UAT which is what is constant in both the sectors, like both in B2B and B2C. This is your core job and it's very important, and in fact most important. This is the execution part, and you have to be really good at it, fast at it, and all of those. So this is what is common, and this is very important. Now coming to the part where the feature is ready, here's a lot of differences. Release processes can be tricky both in B2B and B2C. Let me first speak about B2B. After a feature is ready, we have to first figure out the set of customers this should be released to. Usually it is pre-decided with sales and customer success that which customer we should release it to. Here we have to decide the pack and plan of the feature, where it should go, how much should it cost. Now that it's release ready, the processes should be set where the product team gives a handoff, that is the details of the releases, to the marketing team, which is usually the product marketing team, and customer success team and sales team. You have to define what the feature is, what are the integrities of it, so that they can sell it, so that they can explain it to the customers. Now what happens in B2C environment? We usually most of the time have to design an experiment before releasing a feature. Usually experiments are designed on user sets. You have multiple user sets, and these are they have equal number of users, and you have to release it on 1 or 2 segments to understand what is happening. Is it improving the metrics that you really aimed to improve for with this release? And once it works out, you release it to all. Again, you have to figure out whether it's habit breaking or not. Now let's say if it's a habit breaking product release, maybe it's a release which is related to swipe or scroll. So then that becomes really habit breaking, and you cannot release it to all users. You have to release it to new users to understand how it is performing, and then you make a release to the older users who are really habitual users of your platform. uh, how a feature, now this is a feature release, and how are feature enhancements done. Feature adoption and tracking are a big part of both the B2B and B2C setup, and this is done really differently in different setups. Feature enhancements usually come from customer success in case of B2B, but in case of B2C it is usually data driven. Now if the data is not what you expected, you will have to improvise on the feature itself. uh, Final section is road mapping. In both the cases, like most of the organizations have OKRs. The OKRs can be feature driven or can be data driven or customer driven, depending on which kind of setup it is or what works for your organization. It really varies. Last part is bugs and customer success. This is a very big chunk of our lives. We know there are bugs in every feature that we develop, and the bugs and the customer success will be reported to customer success, and they'll be reporting it to the engineering team who looks at the bugs. Now depending on the account size and the churn risk of the customer, we have to decide which bug is important and how important, and whether there's a workaround available for the bug. This whole thing is B2B, how B2B works. While in B2C setups, we have to look at what percentage of DAO is actually using the feature and actually facing the bug. If it is a very important bug, we have to work on it immediately and release it. So that is how you prioritize. Bugs should be prioritized first ahead of feature development. That's how it works in all organizations or all product driven organizations. Now that is it. I have covered major pillars of what and how product management looks like for both B2C and B2B setup. This is it. Comment below if you want to see some particular topic that I should discuss about in this channel. Thanks.